afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Zahn Academy. I apologize for the delay. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are here now with Travis Iverson, who is the CEO of Iverson Dental Laboratory in California, and he's here to discuss with us the Autofinish and his lab's journey, how they adopted this and implemented it into their workflows and laboratory. Like I said, we have Travis here joining us, and he has prepared for us some poll questions that I'll be launching throughout his presentation. So please don't be shy. We'd love for you to be interactive with us and answer those questions. And he'll also be taking Q&A at the end. So there is a little tab at the bottom of your screen that all you have to do is type your questions into there, and I will give them to Travis at the end. So here's Travis, everybody, and thank you again for your patience. And thank you, Travis, for joining us.
Oh, thank you. So I'm Travis Iverson. I'm the Director of Operations at Iverson Dental Lab. Cody Iverson's our CEO, but I just want to make that small correction, but thank you, Fran. So we're here today to talk about the Autofinish machines. We've got two models. We've got the 250 and then also the 500. What we're finding as we go through this journey more and more is the 250 is really good, is better for smaller objects. And then if you're looking at dentures and larger items, models, things of that nature, the 500 is probably going to be a better suit, regardless of the size of your lab. So both machines work great. And the difference is the size of the barrel. The 500 is a larger barrel, so you get a lot more room and a lot more agitation or a lot more process, if you will. So I want to go through the journey. So like I said, Cody Iverson is our president and CEO of Iverson Biomedical and also Iverson Dental Labs. I'm the director of operations of both. And what we originally did with the Autofinish was we were looking for a way to automate the process of removing polyjet material. This is support material for polyjet. And so in our laboratory. So again, it started with Iverson Dental Laboratory and trying to remove the support material for polyjet. And it basically morphed into something bigger. And I see here, there's a poll that just popped up, pain point in the laboratory. What's the biggest pain point in your laboratory is currently experiencing? Is it the cost of labor, shortage of quality technicians, or maintaining the consistent quality? All of these Autofinish can help with, but I'd love to get your feedback on this and we can address that. So again, I'm going through the Autofinish 500 and the 250. The 250 makes it easier with smaller objects to get it out of the media. I am finding more and more that we rely more heavily on the 500 just because we do a lot of dentures and we do a lot of partials and larger items. So I want to point everybody to autofinishusa.com. You'll be able to see these, and we've got some really good before and after Autofinish. So the before, obviously, and you can kind of slide it back and forth, but you can see what the Autofinish does and maintains very consistent results, much more consistent than a manual finish. So this is a traditional denture, so either injected or processed acrylic. This is a partial, so a print to cast, and then a casted framework that's been auto-finished. This is a zirconia bridge, and this is a gold crown. So none of these products have been touched by a human other than going through auto-finish, with the exception of the gold crown. We run a half round through the anatomy just because the media is not small enough to get into those really tight areas. So we found that to be more successful when we do that. So the next slide I'm going to go to is, it's part of Gordon Christensen's green paper. One of the things that we have found most lucrative in our laboratory, and one of the most amazing benefits of Autofinish when utilizing zirconia is being able to polish it. We basically are able to polish all of our zirconia, and our full contour zirconia goes out. We do infiltrate it, and then we center it, and then it goes right directly into Autofinish, and then we finish it. If we want to add Mio or add glaze at any time, we can certainly do that after Autofinish, but that's only done on some of our higher end stuff and anteriors when characterization's needed. So Gordon Christensen, oh, let me go back to that slide, sorry. Gordon Christensen is really big about not glazing zirconia, because when the glaze wears off, as all of you labs out there know, it leaves porcelain crystals, and it's really not kind to the natural dentition. So you can see this is under microscope, worn glaze. The next thing I want to go into is, you can see the list of products. So in our laboratory, we're doing everything from conventionally processed dentures, milled dentures, 3D printed dentures. And so in our laboratory, we're strictly polyjet. When we're printing, we're using hybrid provisionals. We haven't done full dentures yet because we haven't seen a high strength material that we trust for that. So regular AOX conventional hybrids, AOX milled hybrids, again, AOX 3D printed hybrids. So you can kind of go through this list, but we're doing zirconia, stay plates, partial frameworks. Oh, there's our next poll question. So as we're going through this process, what product are you most interested in utilizing Autofinish for? Is it going to be polishing zirconia, polishing gold crowns or other full cast, conventional and injected processed dentures, or 3D print materials? So we'd love to get your feedback on that. Again, we are using all of these in Iverson Dental Laboratory very successfully. So again, take a look at this. Valplast. A lot of our technicians are so happy we no longer have to manually finish Valplast and TCS. They come out with a very brilliant polish when done correctly with the Autofinish, and consistent results. I want to talk a little bit about the capacity. So, actually, let's go back and start with the 250. My apologies. So, as you can see, we get asked a lot, what is the capacity? How many can you do at a time? So, in the 250, you're limited to 3 conventionally processed dentures, 3 milled dentures, 3 printed dentures. So you can kind of go through this list, and that's per barrel. And each machine has 4 barrels. So you can basically take these numbers, and this is capacity per barrel, and times it by 4. So as you can see, we're processing upwards of 200 zirconia restorations in about an hour. So you can see that the capacity and throughput is quite impressive. Stay plates, as you can see, it's only 1 per barrel. And the reason for this is we want to make sure that when we're processing things, we're not damaging them. Stay plates, when they bang against each other, we found that the ball clasp will actually bend. So the validated workflow is only 1 stay plate with ball clasps per barrel. And so I want to kind of point that out. But you can go through and kind of look at what the 50 full cast restorations per barrel, 50 non-precious restorations per barrel. So all of the products and all of these capacities we're using in Iverson Dental Laboratory on a daily basis, again, with a lot of success. The 500 is basically double per barrel. So we're processing 24 conventionally processed dentures. Again, it's 6 per barrel times 4. And so you kind of go down this list of what we're processing, you can literally get 100 zirconia restorations per barrel. You can process or polish 400 zirconia per hour, and that's a very conservative number. I'm sure there's labs that are going to be doing significantly more than that. So I want to go into the actual workflow. So it is really simple, and I kind of equate the workflow and the processing of the auto finish similar to a traditional washing machine in your home. You open the auto finish door, unclamp the lids, and remove the barrels. You fill it with your media, water to the proper levels, and then you add your compound or soap, and then the parts to the barrel. So there's actually marks on the inside of the urethane barrel liners that guide your technicians through this process. You perform the safety checks to ensure the barrels are secure and all the lids are properly clamped. Close the door, and then you select the program from the touch screen and press the start button. That's literally that simple. The machine stops when the process is completed and remains, it's really important to point out that it remains locked for safety reasons, because this machine gets upwards of 200 to 300 RPMs. And so we keep all of the technicians safe by locking the door while it's going through the process. When it's done and completed, you'll open the door, unclamp the lids, remove the barrel, and then you start separating the parts with a strainer and rinse. So you can also use a serrated spoon, or you can even use your hand once they're processed. A few features of each one of the machines, and they're both, again, very similar. They're both touchscreen, and they come pre-programmed for all of the validated workflows. You also, I want to reference again, autofinishusa.com. So once you're part of the Autofinish community, you'll be given a login, and anytime there's a firmware update, you just put the USB into your computer, you download it, and then you can update your Autofinish, be it a 250 or 500. There's a USB so that you can update the programs and stay on the cutting edge of the Autofinish processes. So again, going into safety, there's a manual turret. The door locks to prevent the machine from being open while it's running. And then there's also an emergency stop button for if something were to happen. So one of the only things that we've seen happen is a technician may not do a great job of locking down the barrels. So what you want to make sure that this is impressed upon all of your technicians, to make sure both of those clamps are locked properly and they're double checked. Because again, when we're at 300 RPMs and that lid comes loose, it's literally going to destroy your machine. So you want to make sure that the training is good with all your technicians. Removable barrel liners is the key. So we keep other barrel liners on the side with the different medias to quickly interchange, so that we can have technicians cleaning and processing the media to keep the assembly line moving to maximize efficiency. Both machines have a fully integrated motor control. They're really easy to operate. The operator has no access to any voltage, and it's really got a lot of protection for the motor. The other thing is, we talk about cost of ownership and cost of maintenance, things of this nature. So we anticipate that the Autofinish machines will last 20 to 25 years with very little to no maintenance. With that being said, there's removable body panels for easy maintenance. The maintenance consists of checking bearings and your belt once a year, and then replacing those as needed. It's really that simple. Both machines are made of stainless steel construction. These things are built like tanks. We wanted to make sure that the corrosion from moisture doesn't cause issues, so that the equipment does last 20 or 25 years. The barrel liners are made of urethane. So there's a lot of engineering that goes into this machine and the urethane barrel liners. You'll notice different knobs and things of that nature when you do receive your machine that creates a lot of friction and traction when we're processing. And then we had to make these out of urethane because there's a lot of heat and pressure that happens inside the machine when it's being processed. So we do have a 3-year warranty on both machines. And then all the machines comply with these, whatever these are, UL approved, things of that nature, but nationally accepted safety standards to be delivered domestically and worldwide. Basically, these machines are designed and been proven successfully to finish most dental prosthetics that we do have validated workflows 10 times faster than any vibratory tumblers, or more importantly, manual process. So we've got one more poll or quiz that's popping up here. Extended finishing times. Have the extended times of the 3D print materials kept you from incorporating 3D print into your laboratory? Yes or no? We'd love for you to share that. We hear this all the time. Autofinish can help with a lot of these issues. So a lot of people talk about, how does the Autofinish work? So I tell everybody, it works by using RPMs, runtime, the proper media, and then the proper compound. And this is all part of what we call Autofinish recipes. And so a lot of times you'll get a piece of capital equipment in your laboratory like we have over the last 35 years, where you have to R&D and troubleshoot and go through beta testing to make sure it works and things of this nature. All of the materials that you see here are the medias that we use every day in our laboratory to finish this process, and they're part of our recipes. We wanted the Autofinish community, when you receive the machine, to be pre-programmed and hit the ground running with recipes that work here at Iverson Dental Laboratory. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stick with these, but it's a good start. And I'm excited to see how the Autofinish community grows and the intelligence of the laboratories out there and what everybody uses this for and the different recipes everybody comes up with. So so one of the things I do want to point out with regards to the medias is you'll see these ceramic angled cylinders. It's very much like a traditional grinding wheel that you would use. The plastic pyramids are very much like a rubber wheel process. And then you've got your porcelain medias, which are used for polishing. So you've got your spheres or round media, and then you've also got your cylinders. Both are made of porcelain. The cool thing is all of these medias, so the porcelain medias last forever, because I get asked that all the time, how long does the media last? These last forever as long as your technicians aren't dumping them into your plaster trap. The pyramids and the ceramic angled grinding media, if you will, they break down over time and you simply add to it. So when you rinse it, you add to it to make sure it's the proper height or proper amount in the barrel to allow the finishing. So I'm going to my next slide. Here's the contact information for Zahn and to get your Autofinish today. And I think, Fran, are we going to open up to questions, or I'm not sure what our next step's going to be?
Yeah, so we can open up to questions. If anybody has any questions for Travis, please type them in at the bottom of your screen. But I do have the results that I think you'll definitely want to comment on.
Sure.
So the first one, what are the pain points? And you know what, 25% of our attendees said cost of labor, but 75% said this shortage of technicians that are actually out there in the workforce. So Travis, how does this help? How did this help your laboratory?
That's excellent. So we believe it or not, we're experiencing the same problem, and I'm sure you can believe it. So technicians are a dying breed. And I think we've done a great job in the dental lab and the dental industry to utilize CAD/CAM, CAD obviously to design, and then CAM post-processing, so milling, 3D printing, things of this nature. But what we've fallen short as an industry is post-process that eliminates tedious labor. And I would assume that you all have the same issues we do in our laboratory, that the post-process before it goes out to the doctor is one of the hardest things to maintain quality, have proper technicians to do this process, and then also finding the labor and then affording the labor while doctors are constantly beating us up on price, and as insurance is beating them up on their reimbursement. So I share these concerns. So Autofinish automates a lot of these processes and allows your technicians to focus on designing treatment plan, focuses on setting the teeth or design or servicing your doctor. So it's, I hear all the time, Travis, what are my technicians going to do if they're not, polishing, or they're not, finishing my dentures, or they're not staining and glazing my zirconia? And I say, well, this is a great problem to have. It means your ROI is going to be really low when you do purchase the machine. The most important thing is it's nearly impossible to find good technicians, or even technicians. You have to train your own, right? So when we have a 250 and a 500 in our laboratory, and they're running a minimum of 8 hours per day each, running through the cycles of all of the different validated workflows. And it allows our technicians to focus on more important things. So I want to address that. And again, if there's any questions in regards to that, I'd love to answer them.
Well, Travis, one of the laboratories that are in the Autofinish community did a testimonial for us saying that he saw promise in the technicians that he had that were doing the polishing. So since he bought the Autofinish, he was able to train them on doing a lot of the other work that he was needing other technicians for. But now he's training these particular technicians that he saw that he felt could do the work, and they're so happy with that because they feel more valued in the laboratory as well. So this machine really did, something great in that laboratory as well.
Excellent. Well, I've heard reports from the Autofinish community. Some are saying they're repatriating or bringing, their fabrication back on U.S. shores because they no longer have to outsource it to China or the Philippines or wherever they're outsourcing to, because they can now polish their zirconia, or they can now polish these dentures. And whether you're bringing stuff back from overseas, whether you're able to take on more accounts, whether you're able to repurpose your technicians to do better tasks, this is all great things. And you're going to get a more consistent result like we've experienced in our laboratory with Autofinish than you will a manual process.
The second poll questions that we had are what are the products that they're most interested in using the Autofinish with? And it was a 50-50 split between polishing zirconia and 3D printed dentures.
Excellent. So let me go into that. As far as the zirconia goes, it's a home run. It takes one process for an hour to polish as many zirconia as you can imagine, literally. And they come out amazing. They have a really pearl opalescence to them. They don't look glazed, but they actually look more natural in the mouth. So we actually did a case, we've got a surgical suite here in our laboratory, and Dr. Orestes Frangopoulos, our head of clinical advancement. And we did a tooth number 8 and a tooth number 9, one auto finished and one stain and glazed, to see how well we could match. And it was an exact match. In fact, Dr. Frangopoulos said, well, can you auto finish another one? Because we actually like the finish of this better when it hydrates. So zirconia is a great option for auto finish for you 50% out there. The other 50% that are looking for printed dentures, again, whether it's DLP technology or you're in the infant stages of PolyJet like we are, it's an amazing solution. You are able to go through this process and virtually automate it. One of the most exciting advances that the Autofinish community is experiencing is the Autofinish will remove the support material on PolyJet technology, and then it will go through a refine process and then take it to a high shine. And we literally can do that from build tray to ready to ship. Now, maybe there's a touch up or something that, other laboratories are like, well, I want to see it more shiny or whatever. And you're certainly welcome to have your technician touch it up on a high shine rag wheel at the end if that's what you choose. But we are actually, our AOX, we're only utilizing PolyJet technology for our AOX hybrid provisionals. And we're literally taking those from build tray to high polish shine, cementing our tie bases, or you can use a Rosen screw or whatever you want, and then they're ready to ship without any other human touch. So I think it's exciting to know that you can remove the support material, automated through Autofinish, and then take it to a high shine, cement your tie bases, and ship it out the door. I think everybody can agree that that is an amazing thing. And when we start seeing PolyJet, higher strength materials coming out of PolyJet, I think this will become the new standard in the dental lab and dental industry. And I think we'll start seeing the industry shift away from DLP. That's just my, my assumption, but it remains to be seen.
Travis, what about the intaglio surface on 3D printed dentures if you're going to polish them?
That's a very good question. Thank you for bringing that up. So I get asked all the time when our samples are out, when I'm at trade shows or there's a demo going on. The Autofinish does polish the intaglio. When we have heat mapped this, the mean deviation is between 40 and 60 micron. And we've actually found here in our surgical suite, and also I will mention every single one of our dentures goes out with a polished intaglio surface all the time, and we are getting zero complaints. In fact, Dr. Frangopol has shown that the patients get better suction when the intaglio is polished. And as far as having a 40 to 60 micron mean deviation, you're not having any fit problem whatsoever. In fact, we're having much more consistent results when Autofinish versus a manual process.
What about capacity, Travis, as far as how many dentures can you do in the 250? How many, crowns? Because it's all about numbers, right? We're doing multiple restorations at a time with the Autofinish. Of
course. So I'm going to reference back to the slide that's got, and forgive me that I'm not in the slideshow mode, but if you take a look here, you can actually see these are the capacities. And remember, this is parts per barrel. So when in the smaller machine, which is the 250, you can see that you can put 50 zirconia per barrel, and you times that by 4, and the process time is 1 hour. So you're literally processing in the small machine up to 200 zirconia restorations per hour to a high shine polish. Dentures, conventionally processed, milled, 3D printed, AOX. It's 3 per barrel in the 250. And then on the 500, you're at double the capacity. As a quick reference point, you can pretty much across the board, with very few exceptions like stay plates or partials after processing, with very few exceptions, the 500 has double the capacity that the 250. So when you reference this slide versus this one, you can kind of see what the capacity is at.
Basically, this is a very good way of scaling your business to the next level. Basically, being able to get that many more done at a particular time is wonderful.
Yeah, it has been instrumental for us and our growth. We have been using Autofinish for the better part of 5 years now in our laboratory. We just launched in Chicago, and we placed, quite a few units since Chicago. And to the best of my knowledge, everybody that is part of the Autofinish community is happy with what the results that they're getting. And they're going through the process of learning about the machine and the different products. And we're certainly here to support that.
And Travis, what would you say to a lab owner who's really considering this, but the cost, saying, how am I going to pay for this? And how long do you think basically it would take them to pay for this Autofinish?
So when we talk about ROI, a lot of times I reference the financial documents when you're talking about, a lease or you purchasing it outright, things of this nature. When you're looking at a piece of machinery that's upwards of 60,000, I say this, when's the last time you got a employee for $60,000 that's going to work 20 years for you with little to no maintenance? And human capital is one of the most expensive things happening across the world, not to mention in the lab industry when we're running short of actually trained technicians. So what I would say to a lab owner is, however it makes sense for you financially, whether you're going to pay cash for it or you're going to lease it and take advantage of the 179 accelerated depreciation, don't wait. I would say, get involved in the Autofinish community, figure out what it's going to take for you to be comfortable with purchasing. And then most important, in a couple weeks when we're at Lab Day, there's a huge Lab Day promo going on. I don't know if we should go, Fran, should we go into that?
Sure.
So at Lab Day, with the purchase of either the 250 or the 500, Zahn is actually giving away the removables and media packages at no charge. And then there's also a 6-month same as cash promo. So, I hear labs talk about, I need to wait until third quarter, or I need to wait till Q1 in 2025. I say don't wait. Start taking advantage of the Autofinish today and do that 6-month same as cash promo. You literally, most of the laboratories out there with their volume will see an immediate return, meaning they'll basically pay for the machine prior to them having to make their first payment on a 6-month same as cash. Again, let's just put the number at 65,000. Let's go address this. Considering Autofinish, would you consider adding Autofinish to your lab's workflow? I'm not sure where that question came from, but anyway, let us know your answer and kind of go from there. My apologies, I wasn't prepared for that question, but
that was my question.
Got it. Okay, you caught me off guard on that one.
That was my question. I just want to know who's interested out there. I mean, it's great. It's something. It's automation that can only help you. It's not taking anything away. It's actually helping move along the process in the lab. So it's great.
Yes, and going back a little bit to the financial, at the end of the day, Autofinish is going to help your technicians, but it needs to work properly and not destroy your prosthetics that your technicians work so hard on. It preserves your prosthetics better than a manual process on all of these validated workflows. I can assure you of that, or at least it does in our laboratory, or it's simply not being done right. Again, 6 months same as cash. You're talking about a $30,000 in 6 months. How many technicians can you repurpose? And you notice I say repurpose. I'm not saying replace. I'm saying repurpose. We have had the opportunity in all of our departments, whether it's ceramics, removables, finishing. It doesn't matter what it is. The Autofinish, taking advantage of it, can help you repurpose your technicians.
Well, thank you so much, Travis, for all this great information. We will be going to Lab Day West, which you can get some great education in Salon 7 from Zahn, and that will be on May 17th. And Travis will be there at our booth and also in our education room with the Autofinish there, so you'll be able to see the piece of equipment and get to meet Travis and get to ask him as many questions as you would like. So please join us at Lab Day West. And again, that's May 17th. What's upcoming on Zahn Academy on May 22nd? We will be having a lecture with Daniel Alter on Nemotech software and treatment planning. On June 19th, we'll be in the lab with Dan Morano and Flexera Smile Ultra Plus. On June 20th, we'll be speaking about 3D printing permanent bridges from theory to practice, featuring Bagos Trinique with John Madden. And on June 26th, you'll be getting acquainted with Dental Direct's Zirconia line with Ballas Vey. So we look forward to you signing up for those courses. They are available, and you can sign up as soon as possible on Zahn Academy. Our roadshows are coming to a city near you. In June, we'll be in Columbus, Ohio. In July, on the 18th, we'll be doing a 3-shape denture design in Indianapolis, and also 3D printing on July 19th in Indianapolis. In August, we'll be heading to California again, to Orange County, and that will be taking place on August 8th with a 3-shape denture design, and our roadshow will be taking place on August 9th in Orange County. So we're really looking forward to seeing you up close and personal. You can go on Eventbrite to sign up for any of these courses and take advantage of the great education. Travis, I want to thank you so much for joining us here on Zahn Academy, and we really appreciate you bringing us into your laboratory and talking about how the Autofinish has helped. So thank you again so much.
My pleasure. And if anybody out there needs anything in regards to Autofinish, please feel free to reach out.